What if I told you that the comfort you're seeking is exactly what's holding you back? That your endless pursuit of happiness is precisely why you're miserable? Look, today we're diving deep into 10 brutal truths that most people actively avoid. But these same truths hold the key to transforming your life. I'm not here to coddle you or tell you what you want to hear. This isn't another feel-good video. This is your wake-up call. And if you stick around until the end, you'll understand why everything you thought about success, happiness, and personal growth might be completely wrong. Before we dive into these 10 uncomfortable truths, let me tell you what you're about to experience. We're going to shatter some deeply held beliefs. You'll probably feel resistant. You might even get angry. Good, that's exactly what needs to happen. Because real change, the kind that transforms your entire life, only happens when you're willing to face what's really holding you back. Let's get into it. Truth 1. Your comfort zone is killing you. Think about a frog in slowly heating water. That's you right now. Your comfort zone isn't just a place of safety, it's a slow death trap. Every day you spend avoiding discomfort is a day you're becoming weaker, more fearful, and less capable of handling life's challenges. The modern world has made us soft. We've created bubbles of convenience, instant gratification, and endless entertainment. We avoid cold temperatures, skip difficult conversations, and run from physical exertion. But here's the thing. Your body and mind are literally designed for stress and challenge. When you consistently choose comfort, you're literally rewiring your brain to become more sensitive to discomfort. This creates a vicious cycle. The more you avoid discomfort, the less capable you become of handling it, and the more you need to avoid it. Your ancestors didn't have the luxury of comfort. They faced harsh environments, dangerous situations, and constant challenges. And guess what? They were mentally and physically tougher for it. Your comfort zone isn't protecting you, it's making you fragile. The solution isn't complicated, but it's brutal. You need to systematically expose yourself to discomfort. Cold showers, difficult workouts, challenging conversations, public speaking. These aren't just challenges, they're opportunities to rebuild your psychological resilience. Every time you choose comfort over growth, you're choosing long-term pain over short-term discomfort. Your comfort zone is like a muscle. The less you use it, the weaker it becomes. The more you stay in it, the smaller it gets. The Stoics understood this perfectly. Seneca regularly practiced voluntary discomfort, not because he had to, but because he knew that comfort breeds weakness. He knew that the only way to be ready for life's challenges was to deliberately seek them out. The most successful people in history didn't achieve greatness by staying comfortable. They achieved it by consistently pushing their boundaries, facing their fears, and embracing discomfort as a teacher rather than an enemy. Truth 2. Your emotions are lying to you. Here's something that might shake you. Your emotions are not reliable indicators of reality. They're just chemical reactions based on your interpretations of events. Interpretations that are often completely wrong. Your brain is constantly creating stories about reality, and your emotions follow these stories. But these stories are filtered through your biases, past experiences, and current mood. They're not objective truth, they're just your perspective, and your perspective is often distorted. Think about how many times your emotions have led you astray. How many times have you regretted decisions made in anger? How often has anxiety prevented you from taking action, only to later realize the threat wasn't real? Your emotions are like a faulty GPS. They might feel like they're leading you in the right direction, but they're often way off course. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote about how our emotions are just our judgments about things, not the things themselves. When you feel angry, you're not responding to reality. You're responding to your interpretation of reality. This doesn't mean you should suppress your emotions. Instead, you need to develop the ability to observe them without being controlled by them. Your emotions are data points, not directives. They're information to consider, not commands to obey. Modern neuroscience confirms what the Stoics knew thousands of years ago. Our emotional responses are often more connected to our internal state than external reality. When you're tired, hungry, or stressed, your emotional reactions become even less reliable. The solution is to develop emotional intelligence through practice. Start by questioning your emotional reactions. Ask yourself, is this emotion based on reality, or is it based on my interpretation? What evidence do I have for this interpretation? Learning to distinguish between your emotions and reality is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. It's the difference between being a slave to your feelings and being their master. Truth 3. You're not as important as you think. This might hurt, but you need to hear it. The world doesn't revolve around you. Your problems, your achievements, your struggles, they're not as significant as your ego wants you to believe. We live in an age of unprecedented self-importance. Social media has turned us all into the stars of our own shows. We obsess over our image, our status, our influence. But this self-absorption is making us miserable and preventing real growth. When you truly grasp how insignificant you are in the grand scheme of things, it's actually liberating. Your failures aren't as catastrophic as you think. Your embarrassments aren't as memorable as you fear. Your successes aren't as important as you imagine. This cosmic insignificance doesn't mean your life is meaningless. It means you're free from the crushing weight of self-importance. When you stop taking yourself so seriously, you can start taking action more freely. The universe has been around for billions of years and will continue long after you're gone. Your current problems, which seem so overwhelming right now, won't even be a memory in 100 years. This perspective isn't depressing, it's freedom. The Stoics regularly practiced contemplating their own insignificance. They would look at the stars and remind themselves of their tiny place in the cosmos. This wasn't to diminish themselves, but to gain perspective and freedom from ego-driven anxiety. When you stop seeing yourself as the center of the universe, you can start seeing yourself as part of it. This shift in perspective allows you to act with more courage, take more risks, and worry less about what others think. Your ego is not your friend. It's the source of your suffering, your fear, and your limitations. The sooner you can see past it, the sooner you can start making real progress. Truth 4. Most of your problems are self-created. Here's a truth that might make you uncomfortable. You are the common denominator in all your problems. While external circumstances play a role, your response to these circumstances is what truly determines their impact on your life. Look at your current challenges. How many of them stem from your own choices, reactions, or habits? How many are the result of avoiding necessary confrontations, postponing important decisions, or choosing short-term comfort over long-term growth? The human mind is excellent at creating elaborate explanations for why things aren't working out. We blame circumstances, other people, bad luck, anything but ourselves. This external attribution feels good in the moment, but prevents real change. Every time you blame external factors for your problems, you give away your power to change them. You can't control external events, but you have complete control over your responses to these events. The Stoics emphasized this principle through their concept of dichotomy of control. They understood that peace comes not from controlling external events, but from mastering our responses to these events. Most of your stress, anxiety, and frustration come not from what happens to you, but from your expectations about what should happen. When reality doesn't match these expectations, you suffer, but the expectations themselves are your creation. Your habits, your reactions, your decisions, these are the real architects of your life. External circumstances are just the raw materials. What you build with these materials is entirely up to you. The solution isn't to blame yourself destructively, but to take radical responsibility for your life. When you truly accept that you're creating most of your problems, you also accept that you have the power to solve them. Truth 5. Your potential is both greater and less than you imagine. Here's a paradox. You're capable of far more than you think, but you're probably overestimating what you can achieve without consistent effort. Your potential is enormous, but it's not automatic. Most people dramatically underestimate what they can achieve in a decade, but overestimate what they can achieve in a year. This misalignment of expectations leads to both underachievement and unnecessary frustration. Your brain is literally designed to conserve energy and maintain the status quo. It will fight against change, even positive change, because change requires energy and carries risk. Understanding this biological reality is crucial for overcoming it. The capacity for human growth and adaptation is staggering. Studies show that the brain can form new neural pathways well into old age. Your physical capabilities can expand far beyond what you currently think possible. But none of this happens without consistent, deliberate effort. Most people never come close to testing their limits. They live within artificial boundaries created by their fears, assumptions, and habits. These boundaries feel real, but are largely self-imposed. However, potential without action is worthless. Having the capacity for greatness doesn't guarantee achievement. Your potential is like a seed. It needs consistent nurturing, proper conditions, and time to grow. The Stoics understood that human potential wasn't just about individual achievement. It was about living up to our nature as rational social beings. They saw unrealized potential as a form of betrayal of our natural capabilities. The key is to maintain a balanced view. Respect your enormous potential while acknowledging that actualizing it requires sustained effort, patience, and strategic action. Truth 6. Your quest for happiness is making you miserable. Here's something counterintuitive. Your desperate pursuit of happiness is exactly what's making you unhappy. The more you chase happiness directly, the more it eludes you. Modern society has sold us a dangerous lie, that we should feel happy all the time, and if we're not, something is wrong. This creates a destructive cycle where we feel bad about feeling bad, multiplying our suffering. Happiness isn't a destination or a permanent state. It's a byproduct of living well. The Stoics understood that pursuing virtue and meaningful action was more important than pursuing happiness directly. When you make happiness your primary goal, you automatically create suffering because you're resisting whatever isn't happiness. This resistance creates tension, anxiety, and disappointment. Research shows that accepting negative emotions actually leads to better psychological health than trying to force positive emotions. The more you can accept the full range of human experience, the more genuine happiness you'll experience. The pursuit of happiness often leads to shallow pleasures and instant gratification, which ultimately leave you feeling empty. Real fulfillment comes from facing challenges, growing through difficulty, and contributing to something larger than yourself. Your constant evaluation of whether you're happy enough is creating a gap between you and genuine experience. You're so busy trying to be happy that you're missing the actual moments of your life. The solution isn't to stop wanting to be happy, it's to stop making happiness the goal. Focus instead on living according to your values, facing challenges with courage, and contributing to others. Happiness will come as a natural byproduct. Truth 7. You don't really want what you think you want. Most of your desires aren't really yours. They're programmed into you by society, media, and other people's expectations. You're chasing goals that won't actually make you fulfilled. Think about your current goals. How many of them are truly yours? And how many are what you think you should want? The house, the car, the career path, are these genuine desires, or are they social scripts you've internalized? We're constantly bombarded with messages about what success looks like, what happiness requires, what we should want. These messages shape our desires without us even realizing it. The things you think will make you happy often don't. Research consistently shows that people are terrible at predicting what will bring them satisfaction. We overvalue material possessions and undervalue experiences and relationships. Your brain is wired to always want more regardless of what you achieve. This is why people who reach their goals often feel empty afterward. The achievement doesn't bring the fulfillment they expected. The Stoics emphasized the importance of examining our desires and understanding their true nature. They knew that many of our desires are based on false beliefs about what will bring us satisfaction. The solution isn't to abandon all desires, but to examine them critically. Ask yourself, if society didn't exist, would I still want this? Will this truly contribute to my well-being, or am I chasing an illusion? Understanding your true desires requires quieting the noise of external influences and getting honest with yourself about what really matters to you. Truth 8. Your beliefs are holding you back. Your beliefs about yourself, others, and the world are creating your reality. And many of these beliefs are completely wrong. They're limiting your potential and preventing real change. Most of your beliefs weren't chosen consciously. They were absorbed from your environment, early experiences, and other people's opinions. Yet you treat them as absolute truths. Your beliefs act as filters through which you interpret reality. They can either expand or limit your possibilities, encourage or discourage action, create or destroy opportunities. The most dangerous beliefs are the ones you're not even aware of, the underlying assumptions about what's possible, what you deserve, what you're capable of. These hidden beliefs shape your actions more than your conscious thoughts. The brain actively looks for evidence to confirm existing beliefs while ignoring contradictory evidence. This confirmation bias makes it extremely difficult to challenge and change limiting beliefs. The Stoics emphasize the importance of examining our judgments and assumptions about reality. They understood that our suffering often comes from our beliefs about events rather than the events themselves. Changing your beliefs requires more than positive thinking. It requires systematic examination and challenging of your assumptions, followed by deliberate action that contradicts limiting beliefs. The most successful people aren't necessarily the most talented. They're often the ones who have the most empowering beliefs about what's possible and what they're capable of. Truth 9. Motivation is a myth. The motivation you're waiting for isn't coming. Relying on motivation to take action is one of the biggest mistakes you can make in pursuing change. Motivation doesn't precede action, it follows it. Waiting to feel motivated before starting is a recipe for perpetual procrastination. The most successful people act regardless of how they feel. Your brain is designed to conserve energy and avoid unnecessary effort. It will rarely feel motivated to do anything challenging or uncomfortable, even if that thing is good for you. The myth of motivation has created a culture of waiting. Waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel inspired, waiting to feel confident. This waiting is just another form of resistance. Action creates momentum, which creates motivation. When you take action, regardless of how you feel, you create evidence that changes how you feel about taking further action. The Stoics emphasize the importance of discipline over motivation. They understood that relying on emotional states to determine action was a path to inconsistency and failure. Instead of trying to generate motivation, focus on building systems and habits that make action automatic. Remove the need for motivation by making desired behaviors the default. Discipline and consistency are far more reliable than motivation. Build your life around principles and habits rather than emotional states. Truth 10. Time is not on your side. The most precious resource you have isn't money, talent, or connections. It's time. And you're probably wasting it while telling yourself you'll change tomorrow. Every day you spend postponing important changes is a day lost forever. There's no guarantee you'll have tomorrow, next week, or next year to finally start living the way you want. We often live as if we have unlimited time, but this is an illusion. Your life is happening right now, and every moment you spend in procrastination or denial is a moment you'll never get back. The modern world is designed to distract you from this truth. Social media, entertainment, and busy work create an illusion of movement while actually keeping you stuck. The Stoics practiced memento mori, remembering death, not to be morbid, but to create urgency and appreciation for life. They understood that contemplating our mortality is a powerful motivator for living well. Your time is being consumed whether you use it intentionally or not. Every day, you're either moving closer to your goals or drifting further away. There is no standing still. The solution isn't to panic about time, but to start using it intentionally. Make conscious choices about how you spend your hours, understanding that these choices compound over time. Stop treating time as an infinite resource. Start treating it as the precious, limited commodity it is. These 10 truths might be uncomfortable, but they're the key to real transformation. You can either face them now and begin changing your life, or continue avoiding them and wonder why nothing changes. The choice is yours, but remember, time is ticking. Every moment you spend avoiding these truths is a moment lost forever. The best time to start changing was yesterday. The second best time is now. Take action today. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when circumstances are perfect. Today. Because in the end, These uncomfortable truths aren't meant to discourage you. They're meant to wake you up to the incredible potential within you. They're meant to shake you out of complacency and into action. The question isn't whether these truths apply to you. They apply to everyone. The question is, what are you going to do about them? If this video resonated with you, don't just click away and go back to your normal routine. Take action right now. Write down which of these truths hit you the hardest and make a specific plan to address it. Share this video with someone who needs to hear these truths. Remember, knowledge without action is just entertainment. Don't let this be just another video you watched and forgot. Let it be the catalyst for real change in your life. Hit subscribe if you want more content like this. And remember, the time for change is now. See you in the next video.